Bam, we're live. All right, welcome. I'll get set up here. My screen's ready. Welcome. We're just getting started. It's going to take a minute. Welcome. Let us know where you're from. If you're new, what part of the country you remodel in. You can always go over to the YouTube. That's where there's some slides set up. You can comment here. Share my screen. Welcome. We'll be getting going in just a minute. Yeah. So just takes a moment in time. All right, now we're ready to roll. So if you're new here, welcome. Got about 12 minutes. We're going to go through some content, and then it's open for any discussions. All right, so in remodeling, the big thing is to keep your surprises to a minimum, right? Especially with homeowners. This is how you can remove a lot of drama and stop it before it ever starts, as they say. Right? Okay. All right. So remodelers, surprises aren't magical. They're expensive. And today we're going to figure out how you can stop these blow-ups in your budget, right? And prevent that schedule from slipping away from you. Also, how to limit the client meltdowns. Hey, Justin, welcome. Good to see you. All right. Happy Monday, yes, sir. All right, we'll be short tonight because I know you got a busy week. All right, and hopefully the first job has gone successful for you today. So you got client meltdowns. You want to prevent all this stuff from where it starts. So in construction, specifically remodeling, if you aren't anticipating surprises, then you might want to get into a different industry. Like every single job, you should expect something of a surprise. There should be. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I do it both as a remodeler. I also have a home inspector's license. I've been in more houses than most people ever will. And I'm going to tell you, even today, I still come across things that I've never seen before. I will walk into a house, open up an electrical panel, and I'll be like, I've never seen it done that way before. I will see plumbing situations where I'm like, I've never seen somebody do that. I'll see framing. We are looking at a house, and what the homeowner decided to do was they had a nice 2-car garage. They decided to put in a laundry room and a half bath. So they came in 4 feet by 20, and they just built a wall right on top of the slab of concrete in the garage. And then they raised it 3 feet, and then they just ran their plumbing underneath, their electric underneath. They didn't use any primer. So all the 3.5-inch drain pipe glue fittings have all come loose. Justin, I don't know if you can speak to that, but when you use Schedule 40 plumbing, I guess, if you don't use primer, and now this is a few years old, this stuff, but apparently if you just try to glue those joints over time they just slip loose. So most of the plumbing joints in some of the houses we'll go into, if you don't see primer, it's letting you know, okay, yeah, that's been my experience. And again, I haven't seen probably as much as you, but uh, so anyway, you just guys, I'm telling you right now, people do the craziest whack stuff. And I think a lot of time it's because the homeowner just invites a few buddies over. They get a 6-pack or a 12-pack of beer. They get some pizza, and they just go at it. And you don't know who's doing what, when, where, how, why. So anyway, when you come into this is when I'm talking older houses. If the house was built like in the 2000s on, yeah, there's some interesting things, but typically when you come into any house that was probably built in the 70s or older, a lot of other people have had their hands at it. And the more people that have been involved, I'll give you an example. We were redoing a house in the city that was built in the 40s, and when we were changing the bedrooms to make a master closet and a master bath. We were taking 2 bedrooms, making it into one large one. And when we opened up and removed, they had remodeled the house about 25 years ago, and it had sheetrock now. It didn't have plaster. When we removed the sheetrock, the previous contractor had put all their trash in the bays. Okay, so there were old tubes of caulk, old plaster, old. There was a coffee cup, a soda can, uh, a bag where they ordered food. There was a half of a grilled cheese sandwich from over 20 years. Like this is what. So anyway, this is if you guys are eating processed food, this should be your clue. So your standard grilled cheese sandwich that you would buy at a convenience store. It was still half wrapped in foil and stuck in the wall. It had been there for 20 years. So this is the kind of crap that you're going to come across when you do remodeling. All right. You just need to expect it. So these are always going to be unmet expectations. And then the homeowner is going to have things in their mind that they think the way you should do the job. Anyway, remodeling gets crazy because you're dealing with people. Okay. And all of us are imperfect. We all make mistakes. And some of the shit that other people do on a job site is going to just shake your mind. You're going to be like, where, Justin, I'm sure as long as you've been doing this stuff, you see some crazy stuff out there. All right. So I have a little framework for you to think about, and it's called CLEAR, CLEAR. And here's how you do this. Will help you eliminate some surprises for sure. First, with all projects, with all homeowners, remember to have a cadence in how you communicate. We've talked about this before. So whenever you're having a conversation with a homeowner, let them know what's going to happen next. Learning every day. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, when you start opening up walls, same thing like roofs, but especially, yeah, you just never know. You can have 7 layers of flooring. I mean, some crazy stuff out there. And the half attempted repairs that people will make. People are smart. Here's what I've learned about people. People are very creative, and often they will spend more time and energy coming up with some crazy cockamamie solution. Whereas if they just would have talked to a professional and done it the right way, but they'll figure it out. They'll make, I'm not saying it works forever, but people will come up with, they have some ingenuity in them. All right. So always have some sort of a cadence to how you're going to communicate with a homeowner, especially on your longer projects. Have some sort of a process and communicate it up front. Also, there's a thing called locks, and you want to have everything locked in place. And that means scopes, selections, allowances, right? You should have, before you even get started on the project, you should have this stuff locked in. You should know what you're doing, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, how much it's going to cost. Don't be jumping. Some guys, I think, are so desperate to get the job rolling that they're like, look, I'll just start this week, and then we'll figure it out as we go. And in my opinion, if you're desperate like that, you're just setting yourself up for more problems. You would be better to say, whoa, 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 let's plan this and then let's get started. But I get it. People are desperate. People are in a hurry. But I think you're causing yourself a lot more problems when you do it that way. The E in clear stands for expectations. This is where every homeowner, when you're getting ready to do work with them, if you're quoting them a bid and you're giving them a price, be sure to explain to them what your change order policy is ahead of time. Say, Mr. and Ms. Smith, I've been doing this a long time. If either of us could see behind the walls, we'd be both making a whole lot more money than we do currently. We can't. We don't know what we're going to come across. And if we come across something other than what is written in our description, then we'll have to address it at that point. All right. Also, there should be some expectations. When a home, like Justin, I'm sure if a homeowner calls you and schedules a job, you're probably giving them some sort of an expectation. Hey, once we get there, here's how we're going to go about doing our job. We're going to install a dust runner. You know, we have these little runners, so we'll protect your floors. We're going to analyze the plumbing situation, right? We're going to be turning off the water for a little while, like you're prepping the homeowner. So listen, if you guys have to do laundry or take showers, make sure you're doing that before we arrive for the service call. Yeah, exactly. You're pre-framing them. You're letting them know up front what the expectation is so that they have time to prepare, especially people that have families. If they have kids, maybe they have to give a newborn a bath or something. The homeowner doesn't, if you show up to the homeowner's house at 9 a.m. to do a call, and then you're turning their water off for 6 hours, and they didn't know that that was part of the process. Like in your mind, you're like, how did you not know I wasn't going to turn the water off? I'm coming here to fix your plumbing situation. But homeowners don't understand that. So anyway, you let them know up front. That works a lot better. And then talk about any allowances if appropriate. And then the R stands for just recording everything or having some receipt set up, some sort of a system, right, to where you're tracking stuff. I'm sure, Justin, that you take, when you show, this is what we do. The first day that I show up to a homeowner's house, I snap a picture of the front of the house. I'm not arriving until after 9. Everybody can get, yeah, perfect. All right. Yeah, give everyone time to get ready so all the kids can get showers or whatever, and then you can come shut down, because most likely if the plumber's coming, the water is going to be shut off, at least to that area. And if people only have one bathroom and you're fixing the bathroom, all these kinds of things. All right. So one thing about documentation, what we do, so the first time I ever show up to a homeowner's house, from the street, I take a photo. I want to see the whole house. I want to see the front yard, the driveway. I just want one photo. It shows me what the place looked like before I ever set foot there. And then as I'm walking through the site, I'm asking the homeowner, hey, I'd like to have some photos to help document things. And it'll give me a frame of reference when I go back later to possibly to prepare your proposal, or we do before and afters, whatever. Somehow you need to explain to the homeowner that you're going to be documenting it, taking photos. And if you're in construction, if you're working on, say, whatever floor you're working on, you also want to take pictures of the room that's directly above and the one that's directly below. Because especially if you're doing demolition, you could cause vibrations and damage the floor, the room above or the one below. And also, you may not damage it, but the homeowner may want to blame you later, say that you did. So you always want pictures of the space above, below, and adjoining before. So you should have very thorough before pictures. And then obviously you go back around and take all your after pictures. And so being in the other industry that I'm in, which is home inspections, I can tell you right now that, and same with contractors, if you have to go to court, photos, there might come a point in time where they're getting more doctored, especially now with AI. But up until today, photos will suffice and speak 1,000 words for you in court cases. And those people that don't have good photos often lose, where they could have easily won had they taken before and after photos to show the conditions. And so anyway, that's just a CYA type of thing. All right. So we've talked already about the pre-construction meetings. You also want to do little huddles with your team. Remember to have a schedule and a calendar. Remember to make your updates routine. Have some visuals. Have that change order policy. And also remember that there's a thing called the final 10% rule. Most of the homeowner complaints come at the very end. It's that last 10%. You've done 90% of the hard work. I'm sure, Justin, for you, it's like you've got everything set, the toilet's set, and the seat just is like slightly askew, or for whatever reason, you didn't get the shutoff angle valve 100% perpendicular, whatever. It's sometimes it's this littlest thing that will frustrate the homeowner. And a lot of times it happens because you've already been working long hours, and it's like that last bit that you're pushing to get done. Sometimes you can be in a rush. Sometimes you can be distracted. So just remember that when you step back and look at your final product, that's what the homeowner sees. And make sure that it is square, tight, everything's plumb, level, whatever it needs to be, because that's where the homeowner is going to ding you the most, especially if you were rushing at the last minute to get it done. So, all right, that's probably everything I have. Anybody have any input, any questions? I'd be curious, Justin, in your line, if you have any common things that you see that frustrate homeowners that you've learned, like, hey, I have to make sure I do this. For us, it's always laying, I carry runners, 4 foot by 12 foot. They're basically big drop cloths. And whatever door the homeowner has us come in, I carry a Tupperware bin, basically. Kind of like what you see at like a 7-Eleven, the way they get their donuts and stuff delivered. It just, the lid interlocks, it flips open, and we have a bunch of runners neatly stacked in there. And we just start right at the front door or the side door. We lay that runner out, and we run a continuous runner until we get to the room that we're working in. That way we're not touching the homeowner's floor. Okay. So you think wearing, so are you not putting down runners and you're just wearing the little rubber, the blue rubber boot? Those things are a trip hazard, by the way. Oh my God, especially if you have to go up and down steps. Those things are a nightmare. I just recently saw a company has come out with a rubber sole that has a hook in the back, a hook in the front, and you just literally step your shoe into it when you get into the house. And then now you have an entire, but it's a rubber sole, but it's completely clean. So, but it has, it won't let you slip like those floor protectors, the little, the blue booties will. But yeah, it's funny. We'll get more complaints about dust protection than everything else. We use heavy duty floor covers. We put the runners down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I personally haven't used the rubber clip-on, cramp-on. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen them, and I've been curious about getting a set. But yeah, because homeowners just get ballistic over these silly things, right? It's crazy. So, all right. So yeah, you have had similar experiences. Yeah, I find that if we spend that extra, so now what and you already probably know this, you have to bill in like an extra half hour of time into most jobs for this pre-setup and takedown where you're prepping the work just to get to the workspace. Yeah. Yep. Homeowners get very finicky about that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes, 100%. Before and after pictures are super. Like I'm sure you probably are. We will take photos of electrical panels. Uh, we take photos. Sometimes we'll actually take a quick video of the shutoff valve. If it's because some homeowner shutoff valves are leaking a little bit. There's just a little seepage there. So we'll take a little bit of video and show them that, hey, this was already in this condition when we got here, right? Um, yeah, that's a nightmare. Those, the pull down attic stair kits. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy, right? Like the homeowner isn't aware of anything about their house. They had you come over to fix a problem, and the next thing you know, everything that is wrong in the house now is all of a sudden your fault. That was never like that. Oh, yes, it was. Let me show you the video. Yeah, yeah, floors are already scratched, and now all of a sudden your guys must have done that. You're like, I don't know. This gouge looks like it's been here like 10 years. I don't know about you guys, but this comes like I'll wash these tarps, these runners frequently. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, most homeowners that have pets, their floors, there's just dog and cat hair everywhere. And the minute you lay that runner down, oh my God, you know, it's just collected. I'm like, we leave most homeowners' houses cleaner when we're done than they were when we arrived. It's almost like we're a cleaning service in some aspects. It's ridiculous. But it just shows you that's how people live. You know, some people are over the moon, clean, neat freaks, and some people are they ain't touched a cleaning supply in 3 years, 5 years. Yeah, yeah, and it's challenging. I find to help instill in the work your guys, the crew that works for you, like, hey, look, unfortunately, part of our job, I know it sucks, is we have to take time to prep so we don't damage anything, and we have to make sure that in the homeowner's eyes, they get the impression that there's no way that we caused any of this damage. I call it the white glove process. You literally have to. It's like you're putting on white gloves, and you're just ever so gently walking through the house to get to where you're going to go, to do the work that you're going to do. So, and then homeowners, obviously, like if you're doing service call in somebody's finished bathroom, like all that work can get dirty. And then you have to make sure like everything, like you got to wipe down the vanity, wipe out the sink. Everything just has to be picture perfect when you're done. Yeah, they love exactly. Employees love nothing more than being super neat and clean for you. Right. Mm. Um, Justin, I don't know if you have any other tips or tricks that you've learned over the years. Um, Anything I haven't shared that you think is helpful? Mm, Otherwise, for tonight, I don't have much else. Oh, one thing I, I can share is if you're going to do, hey, Justin, for, this comes up a lot, at least for me as a remodeler. I When you have a busy schedule, good to see you, Mr. Goat. Hey, brother, keep up all the hard work. I see you out there crushing it putting out your postcards and getting the good Google reviews. That's awesome. You're doing all the right things, man. Just keep that momentum going through the rest of the year so that you're set up really strong for 2026. So I, I can't speak 100% for you guys, but I notice what's that? Yeah, no, you're doing great, man. It's fun to watch. I like watching people win, and it there's this thing in life, right? When people recognize desire in another person, like hard work, a desire to win, a desire to like learn new skills, a desire to do a job good, I find that there's a mutual respect from other people that have that. And so I can only speak from my perspective. And I'll give you an example. My girlfriend and I run out for a walk in our neighborhood, and we have a guy that owns a successful like restaurant catering business. And it was like 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and he had just gotten back from catering a wedding, and he does food. He also has food trucks, and he brings one of the food trucks home. He has a big driveway, and he's parking one, and he was wrapping up the generators because we were getting ready to have a storm last night. And we just stopped and talked to him for a minute, and man, he could tell like because I offered that I was like, hey, I could give you a hand wrapping up those generators to get ready because I knew the storm was rolling in, and he's a little bit older than I am. He was tired. You could tell he had served like a couple hundred meals that afternoon at this wedding, whatever. But there's a mutual respect because I recognize that he works hard. He recognizes that I'm willing to work hard with him, and you end up with this like mutual respect. And so anyway, Justin, where I'm going with all that is to say, like, I know the things that you're doing can suck, and I know it's a battle, it's a struggle, and I just acknowledge it and say, hey man, keep doing what you're doing. Those efforts, the things that you're doing now that aren't so much fun, they're gonna more than pay you or pay for themselves going further down the road. So good job on doing all that stuff. So one other thing I can share for the if you ever come across homeowners, yeah, no, that's a good point, Jan. If you can, yeah, it's like being able to relate to them in the moment. Yeah, 100%. When a homeowner feels like you get them, you understand their problem. Yeah, 100%. Everything else just falls into place. There's that. They appreciate your service. They appreciate you being able to solve their problem for them. And so all this, like, there's some guys that live in a combative world where they're constantly at ends and fighting with homeowners, and that's often, I think, because they never really connect with the homeowner in the first place. So I'm sure Jay Allen, by you being able to connect with the homeowner, you walk away from most of your jobs and everybody's happy. It was a pleasant experience. So thank you for sharing that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Goat, Mr. Goat. Like, just because I know something, I don't know everything. Sure, you just want to do the best you can to solve their problem and empathize with them that sucks that they're having that problem. Yeah, 100%. And one little trick you can try if you come across well, it sounds like maybe you and that person didn't connect in the way you were hoping if they wanted to shoot you. Uh, well, it's this is also an interesting story. We don't always know what's going on in the other homeowners' world, what they've experienced, what their thought process is. So the other night, the same night that my girlfriend and I are walking around in the neighborhood, and like I said, this Greek guy that owns these restaurants and this catering bit stuff and the food trucks, he's amazing. He works hard. We stop, we talk to him, you know. But I have another neighbor, and my girlfriend and I happened to be stopped kind of in front of their driveway as well, just randomly. And I had gotten like a text message, and I stopped to read it, and I'm replying. And as this homeowner's pulling up to their house, they see me standing in front of their driveway on my phone, and they think that like I'm up to no good. Like I must want to break into their car, or I must be there to see if I can steal something from their house. Like it was a crazy experience. And we just don't always know. Like, I don't know if this homeowner has recently been robbed or had their car broken into. I don't, or, I don't know what their life experience is, but I'm just walking around. Like, I'm in like kind of like workout clothes, like, sweatpants sort of, and like a sweatshirt. We're just taking a walk around the neighborhood. It just, what's interesting is it was kind of a coincidence that I happened to stop to look at a text message. They happened to be pulling up. I had just happened to stop when I was positioned at their driveway, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it was just a bunch of little coincidences. To me, it's no big deal, but to them, like they thought I was trying to break into something. I don't know. It was a very weird experience, but that's how homeowners can be. Luckily, Justin, this homeowner, if they had a gun, they didn't try to want to shoot us. uh, but one thing you guys can, and Mr. Goat, this might work for you. If you come across a homeowner that wants your services, so we run into this a lot. You're booked for 6 months, right? And a homeowner's like, they didn't understand construction. They think that you could come out next week, which most likely you can't, but they're really in a hurry. They really want things done. You can offer these people a fast track program that a lot of times the competition can't. You could move them up into and do their job sooner and quicker if they're willing to abide by a bunch of things like making all their selections ahead of time. And, so what I'm getting at is sometimes a homeowner has additional problems, and it might not be the way you typically do business, but it might be beneficial for you to alter the way you do business to take on that client if they're willing to, in turn, either pay more for the expedited service or be willing to move quicker, right? So uh, emergency calls. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to handle all of it, and so like for remodeling, one of the things that slows us up the most is when homeowners drag their feet and don't make decisions. We've had many a client that told us they wanted to start in March, and we don't end up starting in June or till June because they couldn't make the decisions on time, right? And that they sometimes get frustrated, and we have to constantly remind them, we're ready to start as soon as you're ready to give us the selections, right? That's the only thing that's holding this whole process up. Um, so anyway, learning how to navigate that, offering that as an option, letting homeowners know you can do a dedicated selection day where they can meet you. Maybe you meet them at the distributor and you say, hey, we're going to choose everything in 3 hours and it's going to be done, So, yeah, it's sometimes what I've found, Justin and Jay Allen, is you have to look at your marketplace and see what the problem is. In my area, there's a lot of good remodelers, and a lot of times several remodelers are telling homeowners that they're going to have to wait like 6 months to a year, right? And what can happen is if you can come up with a way to move that client up the ladder and get them started a little bit sooner, you can eliminate a lot of your competition. And now they're not focused on price anymore. So it can be a good way for you to get your price, right? You just have to get creative with your scheduling. And I don't know how exactly you could, but in the service world for you, Jan, I could see you having your normal when a customer calls, you say, well, this is where we can typically get you in. And if they have a bunch of complaints right away, you might have, well, we have this like emergency service where we could come out within 24 hours, but and there's a fee for that. You'll position it. But anyway, it might be something that could work for you. Yeah, Mr. Goat, I think that the reason that happens is that homeowners are trying to shop for the cheapest person, and those contractors go out, meet with the homeowner, then they realize that the homeowner is kind of a PIA, right? The pain in the ass type, and then they just don't get back to them. They're like, screw it. I have found that in my experience, when homeowners start telling me nobody gets back to them, I'm like, you must be a cheap homeowner. There's something that you're doing that's giving these contractors the impression that you just want the cheapest, or you're unrealistic. Oh, do you think the contractors are just too busy, Goat? Do you think that, I mean, that's interesting. Are they just that flaky? Maybe that's just, yeah, maybe the guys are just that flaky. Wow. Yeah, maybe, what probably is? They're probably, and I tell you, this is why, like, sometimes it's like taking candy from a baby. They're probably so busy that they're overwhelmed. They take the phone call. They don't write down anything. They probably don't even, so an hour or two later, they probably even forget, when was that appointment supposed to be? What was their address again? You know? Yeah. So again, like, sometimes just doing the simple things, scheduling the appointment, showing up to the appointment on time, and definitely hammer home to that prospect, like, yeah, easy money. It really is. It's like, I can just show up on time. That's a really good, if that's your competition, like, frequently, that's really good for you guys. Because if someone ever tries to throw out the lower price, you can be like, well, what good is the cheaper price if they're never going to show up anyway? That's a dream. Like, that's not even reality. I'm the one that shows up. I'm the one that's here talking to you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that, I'm sure that having that on your phone makes it, especially if you're on another job site doing work and you don't have time to write it all down. I can see that being beneficial. Yeah. I guess that can help show that they're interested too, and that they're serious. If possible, one suggestion I'd probably make is that you guys, when you're on the phone with them, send them a text message first, making sure that they get it so that they can just reply very easily to you. Okay. Yeah, yeah, you want to make sure you get their name, their address. Sure. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, the daily log is huge. Okay. A digital card. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think they call it speed to lead, right? A lot of these, and again, I don't know how these homeowners are finding you guys when they call you, but if they're using a service, Angie's List, we used to find that we didn't have to be the first one to meet with them, but we did have to be one of the first ones that called them back from the time that we got the info. So, the homeowner goes onto the website, says that they want to find this service, and then the lead service messages you guys if you want to buy the lead or not, or maybe you get it because you already bought it. The quicker you can get in touch with the homeowner, the better. And always, this was huge, Jay Allen. I think you do this. You have to have a live person answer the phone. You cannot. Homeowners that don't know you, if they call you and your call goes to voicemail, I'm telling you right now, you're losing a ton of business. We even, if at bare minimum, if you can't, if you don't have a spouse or somebody in the business that can help answer the phone, uh, please hear me and please set up with an answering service to switch your calls over to them when you're busy and you can't, even if it's just for an hour or two a day. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, here's the thing. The whole thing, if you've ever been not sure who you're going to call and you're out dialing the phone and the person just doesn't answer, I even myself, I may hang up and I'll just go to the next one, especially if I have three to choose from. Now, if I've called all three people and no one's answered, all right, now I'm going to have to leave someone a message. But in reality, usually somebody answers, and then that's the person I start talking to. So just hear that, like your business, the person who answers the phone doesn't have to answer all the questions. You just want to capture the attention and get the contact information. And then the homeowner feels, okay, good, I talked to a live person, because that's all they wanted to do. Yeah. Yeah. I've had mixed experiences on Angie's List Goat. So, at times it's been amazing, and at times it hasn't. I think it's just sometimes the luck of the draw. I do think that by and large, most of the homeowners that go on there do want a contractor. I just think some of them get confused about how the process is supposed to work. So yeah, what works for us, and look, every market's a little different, but we like to tell the homeowner, we like to respond to them immediately. And then we ask them, like, hey, how many quotes are you planning to get for this project? That's just straight up. I just put it out there. And if they tell me 3 or 4, I say perfect. And I might have shared this with you before. I let them know that I'd like to come in at the end. Like, have you scheduled anybody? When are you trying to get all this done by? Well, I'd like to come in after you've gotten at least 1 or 2 of the other quotes, and I'll help you review their quotes. And we'll look over it and see what all they're including. And I can give you an analysis of it, no charge. I tell them I do that all no charge. You know, it also helps me understand where I'm at with the project. Believe it or not, homeowners don't know what they're doing. They don't. So you might find that could work for you. I don't know. It's worked for us. Some homeowners will black out the price because and I'll say that's fine. You don't want to share the price, but they'll at least show me the scope, and so I can start poking holes at the competitor's scope and saying, well, did you guys not discuss this? Did you not know what was happening here? Because they don't address it at all. I wonder, do you think they know how to do it? Did he tell you he's done kitchens before? Yes, hand them the handbook. Exactly. Yeah. And so, anyway, like what I'm getting at is, good job. Go get them. So, at the end of the day, you got to use different angles to get in. You never know what's going to work, what's not going to work. And I'm not saying that anything works 100% of the time, but you'd be surprised sometimes what does and doesn't work. Thanks. Go get them. Jay Allen, are you using any paid service? I know did we talk about this the other night? Are you using anything to? I think you said you might try Nextdoor. You don't use Angie's List, I'm assuming. Yeah. All right. Yep. And you did a paid plan with Nextdoor. When you say you did them, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Go if you can get set up with the Home Depots for their pro referral. Okay. Google Ads. Very good. All right. Perfect. Go. Okay. Yeah. So, I have go get them. Just yeah. Go get them. Jay, out with the with Nextdoor, you might have found. I, I've been following it for a little while in my area, and I have at least one or two companies that are consistently on there. So I don't know how successful it is for them or not. I haven't spoken to them, but I'm assuming that you would probably have to do it for a little while to see if there's consistency, but I'm not certain, you know. I did find, like I said, an Angie's List type has worked well. It's just tricky. Uh, whoever's talking to the homeowner over the phone has to be really good, um, and has to really like form a connection with the homeowner to where the homeowner's like, we have to meet with this company, you know, because you don't want them to, when they're being met with like at least three companies, sometimes they won't wait for you. I would assume, especially in your line of work. Sure. Yeah. Next door. Okay. I guess maybe they're doing that because they don't have enough companies and they just need to keep putting it in front of homeowners. I don't know how that's working 100% yet. I do know this. I know uh, a lot of homeowners go on to Nextdoor, and I would say this, like, maybe your wife is already doing this. She hopefully has a regular homeowner account, like a, what do you call it, just a regular person account, because I would say I constantly am seeing homeowners go on and ask for recommendations for someone, whereas she could possibly, or if you need somebody in your corner that can hop on the app and say, yeah, you should I recommend you call and so. Yes, weekly tips. Yeah. So that homeowners can start seeing your name. Sure. Yeah, service. I would think for you too with service work, you're probably right. Google is probably one of your best bets right now. And I would also start looking into how you guys can get listed on to be a Chat GPT, an AI recommendation. Yeah, you're on there. I got you. So you're just not, yeah, you're not coming up as a sponsor, but you're still coming up as a result. Yeah, absolutely. I think next year you're going to have more and more people asking AI who they should call. Um, so I would be considering spending a little bit of time looking into how do we get our company up into the AI rankings so that when somebody's on like ChatGPT is the number one service right now for people. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's like 8 billion users already, so it's astounding actually. And a lot of them are asking. They're not even going. A lot of people that are embracing the AI They're not even going to Google sometimes. Us older folks are still doing it, but a lot, from what I'm gathering and hearing, a lot of the younger kids, they're just going right to Chat GPT. There you go. That's awesome. Perfect. All right, so you're high on the rankings. That's good. It really is. That's awesome. And it shows, and it like confirms just this power of technology. It's kind of crazy. So good that you're yeah. Keep those Google, keep your your search high on Google. I guess you're doing some SEO work and keywords, so keep everything high. That's good. That's all right. Just your phone. Well, at least your phone knows who's the best plumber. Now we just got to get all the other people in your area to know who the best plumber is as well. That's great. All right. Well, Jan, thank you again. Keep it up. Be excited to hear how your week goes with staying busy. And thanks for being here. Appreciate you commenting. And we'll see you on the next one. All right. Take care.